The plot thickens. It all began with a single rumor, an alleged private behind-the-scenes conversation leaked out into the world, sparking the kind of fiery back and forth that only boxing legends and loudmouth newcomers like Jake Paul could stir up. They say that Jake Paul, apparently feeling emboldened after a recent string of wins, allegedly made some pretty bold statements about none other than the Mike Tyson. Now, we're not talking about just any tough guy talk here. Nope, sources close to the situation say Paul apparently went in, calling Tyson past his prime, and apparently went so far as to suggest that he could take him down without breaking a sweat. Now, if you know anything about Mike Tyson, you know he's not one to let a challenge slide. In fact, folks who were supposedly in the room during these conversations say that Tyson allegedly got wind of Paul's comments, and it didn't sit well. Not one bit. So what happened next? Allegedly, Tyson got on the phone with his closest friends, those trusted few who have known him through thick and thin, who were there during his highest highs and lowest lows. And in that alleged private behind-the-scenes chat, Tyson reportedly didn't mince words. Sources say he laughed at Paul's supposed threats, but not in a way that shows amusement. Instead, Tyson's laughter was reportedly that low, sinister chuckle that boxing insiders know well, a kind of warning laugh that he's given opponents right before unleashing a brutal knockout. People close to the boxing legend allegedly claim that Tyson said something along the lines of, "This kid doesn't know what he's asking for." And honestly, can anyone blame him for feeling that way? We're talking about a man who was the youngest heavyweight champion in history, a man who had the guts and the fists to back up every bit of talk he ever put out there. Now here comes this YouTuber turned boxer, allegedly running his mouth thinking he can stand toe-to-toe with Iron Mike. It's almost laughable. One source even reportedly overheard Tyson saying, "I don't even want to hurt the kid, but sometimes you've got to put people in their place. He's going to get knocked out in the ring, brutally." That's Tyson's style. He's never been one to mince words or hold back when someone crosses a line. Rumors swirling in certain boxing circles have also suggested that Tyson allegedly shared his thoughts with a few other retired legends, including some who have sparred with him over the years. And guess what? Word on the street is that they're all backing him up, saying things like, "This kid needs to learn what real power feels like." Rumor has it that Tyson's allegedly considering bringing back some of his most brutal tactics, those techniques that sent chills down his opponent's spines back in the day. And it doesn't stop there. Some of Tyson's confidants allegedly report that he's already been making a game plan to target Jake Paul's weaknesses, focusing on all the ways he can expose the so-called internet boxer in the ring. Word from Tyson's camp is that he's had his trainers already talking strategy, looking at Paul's previous fights, his footwork, his hand speed, his defenses, or lack thereof. Rumor has it, Tyson has been chuckling with his trainers over just how easy it would be to break down Paul's technique, allegedly pointing out every mistake Paul's made in the ring so far. And let's just say, it's a long list. There's been some alleged chatter too from those who've seen Paul's training sessions, claiming that they've noticed a new, anxious energy. The confidence that Jake usually flaunts around the gym. Apparently it's taken a hit. One unnamed source, who's been around Paul's camp for a while, has supposedly said that the kid's got this nervous energy about him. It's like he's starting to realize what he's actually stepped into here.
It's been 4 years in this sport, and I've done more to it than any boxer in the history of the sport. So in due time, sir, I will be fighting for a world championship, and I will be shutting you the f up and making you eat your own words, just like the rest of these punks.
So, Jake, do you think you can take the hit from Mike Tyson?
Yeah, look, they call him Iron Mike Tyson, but I'm Titanium Jake Paul.
All right.
But it's wild the amount of people that think Mike actually stands a chance against me.
When fighting gets you erect, what does that mean? It's orgasmic sometimes.
Something unbelievable to see, to be honest with you. A heavyweight guy, moving like a lightweight.
If Jake Paul did land that one punch on Mike Tyson. And he did finish Mike Tyson off. I'm not saying he's going to do it, but if he did, what happens to Mike Tyson's legacy then? The younger generation that doesn't know who Mike Tyson is the way that I know him, and you probably know him, looking up to him as this living legend, this icon, one of the best to ever do it. He will be remembered by the younger generation as that guy who got knocked out by Jake Paul. Now imagine that. How bloody sad would that be?
But here's the kicker. Despite what people say they're seeing in Jake Paul's camp, sources close to him reportedly claim that he's more determined than ever to take this fight. Apparently, Paul's inner circle has been working hard to keep his spirits high, with his team allegedly pumping him up with confidence, reminding him that he's already beaten the odds and that he's got the upper hand because of his youth. Some say that Jake's being told he's the future of boxing, that this fight could be the defining moment of his career. Allegedly, his trainers are even throwing out some ambitious goals. Phrases like "boxing's next champion" are being thrown around. But insiders who know the real Mike Tyson are allegedly smirking at all of this. They've reportedly said that there's a massive difference between training to win a few social media bouts and preparing to face a legend who's fought through blood, sweat, and decades of discipline. Allegedly, one of Tyson's longtime training partners said, "Jake doesn't know what it's like to face a man who's got real fire in his belly. Tyson's not doing this for money or fame. He's doing this because he feels disrespected, and that's a dangerous game to play." Meanwhile, the back and forth continues to intensify. Sources claim that Paul has allegedly ramped up his training regimen, pushing himself harder than ever. Supposedly, he's been clocking in extra hours, hitting the bag with a kind of frenzy that those close to him say they've never seen before. And apparently, Paul's been working with some heavy hitters in the boxing community, hoping to absorb their wisdom and up his game. One source allegedly shared that Jake's been meeting with every trainer he can get his hands on, asking for tips on power, technique, and even psychological warfare. It's as if he's trying to put together the ultimate game plan to handle a boxing icon, almost like he's building a fortress around himself before facing Tyson in the ring. But, as some people close to the boxing legend have pointed out, Paul might be underestimating the mental aspect of going toe-to-toe with Tyson. Rumors have been flying that Tyson's been allegedly reaching out to sports psychologists, strategizing not just for the physical battle, but for the mental game too. One of these psychologists, who allegedly worked with Tyson in the past, reportedly said that Tyson's focus has been razor sharp in recent sessions. According to this source, Tyson has apparently been building up a psychological edge, studying every nuance of Paul's public persona, his social media habits, and even his verbal tics to exploit any signs of weakness. And let's talk about Tyson's workout regime for a minute. Allegedly, he's been diving back into his old-school training routines, the kind that made him a household name in the first place. Tyson's alleged routines have reportedly included hours upon hours of shadow boxing, speed bag work, and intense cardio. Some people who've seen him in the gym recently say that it's like watching Tyson from his prime all over again. Only this time he's reportedly more focused, more driven than ever. Apparently, Tyson's also pulled in some of his most trusted former trainers to get him back into peak form, even consulting with his old cornermen to recreate the intensity of his former fights. Allegedly, he's been sparring with some younger fighters, guys who can keep him on his toes, challenging him at every step, so he's ready for anything Paul might throw his way. Some folks close to the gym say it's been surreal, watching Tyson push himself like a 20-year-old rookie, reportedly muttering under his breath every time he lands a punch, "This is for you, Jake." Word on the street is that Tyson's been taking special care with his punch power, focusing on the sheer ferocity he can bring into each blow. Sources close to him are saying he's allegedly been hitting the bag with a force they haven't seen in years. One unnamed trainer reportedly described it as bone-crushing, adding that it's as if Tyson is working out not just to win, but to make sure there's no doubt in anyone's mind about who still holds the throne. Meanwhile, alleged whispers in Paul's camp suggest that he's not blind to the intensity Tyson's bringing to the table. Apparently, Paul's team has been working overtime on his conditioning, making sure he's ready to go all 12 rounds if he has to. Supposedly, Paul's trainers have been feeding him stories of Tyson's brutal knockouts, almost as a way to prepare him mentally for the sheer power he's going to be up against. But even as they build him up, there's a rumor that a few of Paul's close allies are secretly worried. One unnamed insider supposedly claimed, "Some of us don't think Jake understands what he's walking into. Tyson's a legend for a reason." In fact, there's even been talk that Paul's been getting some secret sparring sessions in with heavyweight-level fighters, allegedly trying to get a taste of what Tyson's power feels like without having to face the man himself just yet. Insiders say these sessions have been no joke, bruises, swelling, and all. One alleged witness shared, "You can see it in his face. He's a bit shook. It's dawning on him that this isn't a game." But the wildest rumors, some claim that Tyson's already mentally prepared to break Paul down, not just physically, but emotionally. Allegedly, he's got a few surprises up his sleeve for the press conferences too, planning to throw out verbal jabs that cut deep, intended to shake Jake Paul's confidence to its core. Tyson, according to his close friends, isn't content with just a knockout. He allegedly wants to dismantle Paul's ego, piece by piece. At the same time, Paul's social media team is reportedly gearing up for what they're calling an all-out campaign to paint Jake as the underdog hero, allegedly working to build sympathy and support. They're allegedly planning to spin every jab Tyson throws, both inside and outside the ring, as part of a narrative where Paul defies the odds and proves the world wrong. They're playing with fire, but in Paul's world, apparently, no attention is bad attention. In some quieter moments, insiders say Tyson has allegedly been reflecting on his own legacy, reportedly talking to close friends about the battles he fought, both in the ring and within himself. Supposedly, he's drawn inspiration from his own struggles, telling his inner circle that facing Paul isn't just about one fight. It's about reminding the world what real fighters stand for. Paul, meanwhile, has allegedly doubled down on his public persona, maintaining his confident facade, but sources close to him hint that he's starting to feel the pressure. He's allegedly putting on a brave face, but behind closed doors, people are saying that he's beginning to realize the true gravity of what he's signed up for. Some claim they've even caught a glimpse of doubt, allegedly catching him muttering to himself, "This is bigger than any fight I've ever had." As the alleged preparations continue, one thing is clear. This is no ordinary showdown. Tyson isn't just coming for a win. If rumors hold true, he's coming to make a statement, to remind Jake Paul, and anyone who's watching, that the world of boxing is built on more than just internet fame and flashy knockouts. It's about heart, legacy, and respect. And as the clock ticks down to the big fight, the tension is reportedly reaching a fever pitch. Sources claim that Tyson has been almost ritualistic in his preparation, allegedly diving into his routines with a level of intensity that even his closest friends haven't seen in years. Rumor has it that he's been listening to his old training playlists, reliving those moments from the prime of his career, replaying his greatest fights in his mind, as if to reawaken that primal force within him. Those who've been around him say it's like watching a man possessed, focused, silent, deadly. Meanwhile, in Paul's camp, the story is reportedly much different. Allegedly, Paul's close circle has noticed some cracks in his armor. One source even suggested that Paul's been unusually quiet, spending a lot of time alone in his dressing room after each training session. Supposedly, the constant reminders of Tyson's brutal power have started to weigh on him, with his coaches saying he's been visibly nervous, almost haunted by what might happen when he steps into the ring. Apparently, he's been asking his trainers if there's anything more he can do to withstand Tyson's power. The answer, allegedly, has been a tense silence. But here's where things get interesting. Rumor has it that Tyson's corner has also caught wind of these supposed signs of doubt from Paul, and they're allegedly seizing on it with everything they've got. Some say that Tyson's team has been sending subtle jabs through social media, using every opportunity to highlight Tyson's legendary status and his decades of experience, reportedly as a way to play mind games with Paul. The word is, they want him coming into the ring as rattled as possible, almost as if he's stepping into a lion's den. One insider even claimed Tyson's camp is going so far as to have Tyson practice an intense, silent stare, planning to use it to throw Paul off before the first punch is even thrown. And what about the fans? The anticipation has allegedly reached a boiling point, with boxing purists and Jake Paul followers locked in heated debates across social media. Allegedly, Tyson's longtime fans are banking on a knockout, saying this is Tyson's moment to show the new generation what real boxing looks like. Meanwhile, Paul's fans are claiming that youth will prevail, insisting that their man has what it takes to go the distance. Reportedly, some high-profile sports commentators are even chiming in, speculating about the impact this fight could have on the future of boxing itself. As fight night approaches, whispers from the Tyson camp reportedly hint that he's planning something special for his entrance, something big, something iconic. Allegedly, his team is working on a walkout that's meant to remind everyone in the arena just who they're dealing with. People close to the preparations claim that Tyson is determined to bring back the old-school spectacle, the same aura of fear and awe that defined his career. Allegedly, he's been rehearsing this entrance in private, testing out music that brings back the power of his prime. In the end, those in the boxing world reportedly agree on one thing. Tyson didn't just win a match that night. He showed the world, and his younger opponent, that boxing isn't something you can conquer with bravado and publicity stunts. It's a legacy that requires grit, respect, and a whole lifetime of dedication. Allegedly, as Tyson himself reportedly put it to a close friend after the fight, "This isn't the end for boxing, it's just the beginning."